talking, I don't sweat that. If they don't trust me either, I respect that. But she be down the ride, oh, I bet that. Ooh, I slide for my people, don't forget that. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Ooh, I slide for my people, don't forget that. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Ooh, I slide for my people, don't forget that.
All I hear is talking, I don't sweat that. If they don't trust me either, I respect that. But she be down to ride, yo, I bet that. Ooh, I slide for my people, don't forget that. Don't forget that. Ooh, I slide for my people, don't forget that. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is JH. How y'all doing, Postal family? Is everybody good? Is everybody cool? Are you clean, crisp? Are you feeling irie today? Today we're gonna talk about the pros and cons of union membership. Raise your ears, come on now. Now, I'm not specifically talking about the postal unions. I'm speaking about unions in general. This is for everybody. So if you feel like something in here doesn't represent what you got going on, I'm talking about everybody, all right? Number one, we're going to talk about the pros, okay? We're going to give you 5 pros and we're going to give you 5 cons, all right? So don't take this personal, but we're going to try to keep it as real as possible. The pros of being part of a union: collective bargaining. What does that mean? Unions negotiate on behalf of members for better wages, benefits, and working conditions. That is a pro of being part of a union. Job security. Lord knows where I work at, job security is key and clutch. Unions provide protection against unjust termination and ensure fair treatment. Solidarity is number 3. Membership is supposed to have a sense of unity and mutual support amongst its members. So if you ever hear or read an article say we stand in solidarity with the Teamsters, or the Teamsters say they stand in solidarity with such and such, with these such and such, that's because unions have this thing where they supposed to all come together. Solidarity, union, one. Improved benefits. This, I can say, is one of the best parts of being part of a union. Okay, unions often secure better health care, retirement plans, and other types of perks, too many to list, for union members and any organization that they represent. All right, and the main thing, number 5, pro, is they have grievance resolution. Unions help address workplace issues and disputes through a structured grievance process. What is that grievance process? Go talk to your unions about that. But that's exactly one of the big things that we have unions for. Whenever there's a big situation or small one, they're there. After they've done that whole bargaining and everything that goes with it, there's a contract. They're there to ensure that management simply follows the contract. All right? And then if they don't, then they go on to having the grievances, and then they try to get resolution behind it. They're something like your lawyers. Now, for the cons of being part of a union. This is true. Dues. Members are required to pay union dues, which can reduce your take-home pay. Although you can write it off on taxes. You can. But some people like their money in their pocket here and now. So technically, that's a con, okay? Loss of individual negotiations. So with the unions, they tend to have specific areas that have different needs, right? So they'll have a big contract for the whole country, but each area may have specific needs. You figure down in South Florida, they're not going to need to talk about what happens when it snows, because they're not going to run into that, right? No. And people in New York are not going to talk about over exhaustion from super duper, 130 degree heat. It's not going to happen. So they have specific smaller contracts that tend to deal with the area. But as far as a collective bargaining unit, they limit individual negotiations for some aspects of employment. Meaning some states may get paid a little bit more because the cost of living is higher over there. It's a real tricky situation. And so people tend to get frustrated because there's loss of individual negotiations on behalf of one specific person. But that also goes with the grievance process, which is a pro. So also a con of being part of a union is strikes and disruptions. All right. Union actions like strikes can disrupt work and affect both members and employers. Now, there's always a few members that are part of a union that say, hey, man, I'm just here to work. I just want to work. But they get some threats, I would say, not to go across the picket lines. So it can be a little controversial or a little out of whack to people that are not accustomed to being in a union. My dad was in part of the Teamsters, and I didn't understand certain things when he was just at home, and you'd go to work, but he wasn't going to work. It confuses things, and then it can get complicated. So that is one of the cons of being part of a union. Limited flexibility. Some argue that union agreements can hinder flexibility in adapting to changing business conditions. So where we are located with the United States Postal Service, a lot of the unions are fighting for things that may be outdated at the moment. And that hinders the organization as a whole from trying to move forward. They can't just implement, new machines and say, hey, those workers that used to work here, go work over there, without having to negotiate with the union, which I think is a good thing, but it's also a con, because if the union does not say, hey, no, we don't agree to that, then the organization can't move forward. It's just one of those, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Number 5, union influence. People argue that if unions become too powerful, they basically affect the business decisions overall. So just like I was talking with the limited flexibility, if a union becomes too strong and their demands are not met, well, the business cannot move forward. For example, with the UPS, they were going to be at a standstill, damn near hinder the whole country. I agree that they needed more money, but from a business standpoint, they kind of had them by the balls. So it can be a con, because if they didn't, agree to the union's demands, who would be affected the worst? It would probably be the consumer, which was the customers throughout the country. And the domino effect would have caused headaches for the post office, headaches for FedEx, etc. So that could be a con when it comes down to, involve having unions in a workplace. Now, for my opinion behind it all, if every place would have a union, I believe that this country would be a better place. That's just an opinion. There are a lot of people that say union workers are lazy. I'd have to say that I almost agree with that as well. But you can't say that every union worker is lazy. Some union workers just want to come to work, do their job, and go home. It's the individuals that are part of it. Some people abuse the contract. So, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. But again, I'm not here really to give too much opinions. I'm here to tell you the pros and the cons of being a member of a union. All right. So hopefully this information, it wasn't really animated, but I hope it touched somebody. And in my opinion, when you are approached to join a union, take some time, think about it. If they come and shove some papers in your face, don't just go sign them right away. Do some research. See if, research about the union itself and see how they, basically same thing you would do as if you were voting for, a candidate. You want to do some research. Just don't vote for them because they're your party. You have to make sure that they represent your values. So take some time before you just sign a piece of paper, because you'll be paying forever, and see if they represent the values that you're looking for. That's an honest opinion and shouldn't be hindered. All right. With that being said, you guys have yourself a good rest of your day. This is JH.
Unexpected expenses stressing you out? Get the money you need now with Loans for Feds, a program designed specifically for federal employees. Bad credit is not a problem. Application is fast and easy with same-day approvals. Apply now.